Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing my TBR for June. It is going to be a little bit different than my usual TBR. I will still be using my TBR Snail Trail board to pick prompts, but it's going to be with a little bit of a twist because as you can see, I have this bingo board back here that is nice and rainbow. And that is because the month of June is Whateverathon. So Whateverathon is a readathon hosted by Maddie over at Book Browsing Blog. I will link the announcement video down in the comments or in the down bar. And you can go check out kind of like the rules and the theory behind it. But basically, I'm going to be trying to fit any prompts that I get from my TBR Snail Trail TBR into prompts from the bingo board. So you can get 3 spaces per book when you're playing the bingo game. So I'm going to try to pick books that not only meet the prompt for my TBR Snail Trail, but also meet the prompts for the Whateverathon bingo board. And I am on team TBR Travelers. You'll see the pink squares, which represent the prompts that are specific to that team. So again, all of the links will be in the down bar for the readathon. Let's go ahead and jump quickly into what I read or how I did on last month's TBR, and then we will get into the rolls. I will be honest and say that I am a little confused as to which cards were for which books at this standpoint, but I know that these books were on my TBR and I did not read them. So those 4 didn't get read at all. I read these 2, so Infinite Country and Sisters of the Forsaken Stars. I read these 2, which were on my TBR. And then I started Legacy of Dragons Emergence, which this is the actual worst cover in the existence of covers, but the writing's actually pretty good. So I just started this today, and it's 5 days until the end of the month, so I could potentially finish this because it's only about 230 pages. But needless to say, I did not do well. I know I completed Dark Cover and Mysterious, but I genuinely have no idea what books completed those or which books, which prompts I did not complete. So going great this month. And before we jump into the rolls, I did want to pop in to say that I will talk about the prompts on the bingo board that each of the books I pick could go for at the end. I have a little graphic to go with it. That way, if you're not interested in Whateverathon, you can skip over that part. But for those of you who are interested or are here because of Whateverathon, welcome. But that will be at the end of the video. There will be chapters down below so that you can see it. So yes, let's get into the rolls. All right. I dropped the camera on the board and now there's a dent there, so that's fun. But we have Mr. Snaily, and he's ready to go. And then I have my 3 dice, and I'm gonna roll to see which one we're gonna use. So the lowest number was 1, so we're using the D12. All right, I've got my stack here of 12 books since the lowest number was on the 12-sided die. So I have 12 books. I picked these variously because they were either queer books, they fit some different prompts on the bingo board, or they're things I just really wanted to read, or they're short reads. So I have Autobiography of Carson McCullers, Tarnish the Stars. This one is a stand-in for your local bisexual disaster. Self-Portrait with Nothing, Tides, The Hand That First Held Mine, the first volume of Invisible Kingdom. This one is a stand-in for Iron Widow. And I have Mrs. Dalloway, the next book in the Animorphs series, We Need New Names, and then Darius the Great Is Not Okay. So we'll find out what book the last roll of the die gets us in a few minutes. All right, so we've got all of our prompt cards. We've got our TBR friend cards. Let's go. Our first roll is a 4. And that card is going to be slow paced. All right, well, slow paced is definitely not the way I wanted to start the readathon TBR, but here we are. That's what we've got. So I chose Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This has been on a previous TBR before, and I didn't get around to it. My friend Catherine chose this for me as a friend pick. So yeah, looking forward to reading this. It's a classic, and I know that I can get the audiobook of this, so I feel like this is going to be a good candidate for listening to while I'm at the studio working on pottery. So the first one on the list is going to be Mrs. Dalloway. All right, next, roll number 2 is, ooh, an 11. So for that one, we have odd number of pages. Next, I pulled out the card for odd number of pages, which is pretty easy. Not as easy as I thought, because a lot of the books that I was hoping to read are even numbered. So I did find this one, Darius the Great is Not Okay. This was a book that was recommended to me by Casey of Casey the Reader, and so I had already picked this up from the library, but it's also one of the host's favorite books for Whateverathon, and it does have, if it'll focus, they're tiny page numbers, but it has 317 pages, so odd number of pages. Very excited to read this one, and happy to have an excuse to put it on the official TBR, so that I can get to it and then, you know, get it back to the library. Oh, and I guess I should probably tell you what it's about. I don't know a ton, except that Darius is the main character, and he's going on a trip to Iran for the first time. He is part Persian, and something about the trip changes his life. I feel like this, no, I know this is queer in some way, because the reason that Casey recommended it is because I asked for a queer YA contemporary. So that is what I know about this, but it has come highly praised from everyone that I have seen talk about it. So for roll number 3, we have a 12. Wow. All right, so with 12, that takes us to a TBR game, a TBR Friend Square, and we're going to be playing Ring of TBR. All right, so we got Ring of TBR, which we have not had before in the game, and that is a TBR game that was created by Ivy over at Ivy's Library Card. I will link her channel down below. This is a game that's based off of the drinking game Ring of Fire. I think in the US, or at least in my college days, we called it Kings, but I'm not sure. It's been a minute since I was in college, so I could be wrong. But I am going to be using Ivy's prompts that she developed for this, so I didn't develop my own this go around. I will put a graphic up here so that you can see what the prompts are. And I'm just going to be using her original ones. If you want more information about her game, please go to the link below. It is one of my favorite TBR games, honestly. It is clever, and I like it a lot. So I'm glad I got this one. But let's jump into picking the card, and then I'll come back and tell you what the prompt is and book and all of that. All right, I've got my ring, and this is the star jar in case I somehow managed to break the ring on this try, which, please, that would be sad. So let's pick a card. And the card is the 10 of Spades. All right, so 10, and the spades doesn't matter in this because I didn't do her inverted prompts. I just did her original prompts. So the 10 of spades is a TBR jar pick. And I'm a little mad about it. I'm not gonna lie, because I do not want to pick from my TBR jar. But I did just update this. So here it is. Here's my TBR jar. And we're gonna pick a random book from all the books on my TBR. Please be nice to me. I do not remember. Oh, okay. So I was about to say I don't remember what color green is, or like where in the progression of how long I've had the books are green is, but I got the guide, which, let me grab it. So the guide by Peter Heller is a thriller, and it is set in nature on like a private nature reserve. It's called Billionaire's Mile. It's a lodge, and this guy is a guide for some rich woman, and something goes down in the wilderness. I read The River by Peter Heller previously, even though I'm not usually into thrillers, and the nature writing in that book was just so good and like visceral that when I heard that he was coming out with another thriller that was set in nature, I couldn't pass it up. So this one is going on the TBR, and I'm actually quite pleased about it. I feel like June is the right time to read this kind of book. All right, maybe last roll. We could get small number this time. If we did. That was a 3. And we have a hardcover book. And then the card that was almost the last card, I feel like we land on that last space of the board often, is for hardcover, which pretty straightforward. Again, most of the books I had set aside to want to read this month were paperbacks. So I did find one though in my stack of books that I really want to read this month that is also queer. This is Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. And the theme of these, I don't know what these books are about. I bought this one because several people that I follow on Instagram who are ace have said that this has really good asexual representation. So I was looking for some more books that have asexual representation in them. So here we go. This one, it's a sci-fi. I think there are robots or mechanical. The first sentence says her mechanical heart isn't all she's hiding. So I'm not sure, but it's sci-fi and queer, so I'm here for it. And what is definitely the last roll, and will determine what book we get from the stack of 12, is the number 5. All right, so the last roll of die got us a 5, and that is Tides by Sarah Freeman. I actually do not know what this book is about at all. I picked it up when I was in Cincinnati. It's told in like vignettes, so it seems like it's going to be a pretty quick book to get through. I think it has something to do with grief and is set in a seaside town. So we will see how I get on with this one, but it does seem like it will be a quick read, which is a good choice for a readathon. Now we're going to talk about how the books fit into the Whateverathon prompts. So I will put up a graphic so that you can see the bingo board. Like I said, I am Team TBR Traveler, so you'll see the prompts over there for TBR Traveler. So with Mrs. Dalloway, that one for me could fit for a TBR bet because I've had that one for quite a while. I feel like I've had this for least 4, maybe 5 years and still haven't read it. Whoops. It could also fit for a book under 300 pages. It is quite a short book. I think it's like 170 or something like that. Yeah, 180 pages, so pretty short. It could also fit for on a previous TBR because, like I said, it was on another TBR. My friend Catherine picked it as a friend pick a few months ago, so it fits for that. It also fits for a different format because I will likely read this as an audiobook. So usually I finish a physical book and then an audiobook, and vice versa. So depending on how the progression of things go, it could be a different format. And then it would also fit for a less read genre because I don't read a lot of classics these days. So that is what this one would fit for. Then we have the guide. So with the guide, this one could fit for actually quite a few prompts. And I guess let me say, I'm showing you on the board the prompts that it would fit for, so what I could use it for, but the rules state you can only use it for 3 prompts. So a given book for 3 prompts, reading prompts. You can use it for the other ones that are non-reading prompts, the ones in gray. So for this one, it could fit for the and, the, and of a, that prompt. It is also under 300 pages and sort of could fit for color on the cover. I feel like it might be a little stretch, and I feel like the camera is probably not doing it justice because this is yellow in person, but it looks more gray-green on the screen. So that might be slightly a stretch. Then it could also be used for adventure because there's definitely going to be adventure in this. It does have GPS on the cover, so it has a G here, the P in Peter, and then the S is in like this down here, the word stars. So it is on there, not in the title and the name. I have a few books where the GPS is fully in the title, and I would like to prioritize those, as that one of those is the one I used for this prompt, but it just has to be on the cover, so anywhere on there counts. It definitely could be less read genre because I do not read many thrillers, probably 1 a year if that. So definitely for that, and this was published in 2021, so it could work for 2021 release. For Darius the Great is Not Okay, this one can fit again for the articles prompt, so the a, and, of, the, yes. And I keep thinking I'm forgetting one. It could also fit for favorite genre because queer contemporary is one of my favorite genres. And then this is obviously a host favorite, so that one. And it also does have GPS on the cover with the G here, S here, and then the P is in the, where it says that the winner of an award. So yes, there's that one. For Tarnished Are the Stars, this one would fit the article prompt. It would also fit for favorite genre because sci-fi is another one of my favorite genres. And then I'm going to say it would fit for adventure because one of the characters is on a mission. And to me, a mission is like a quest. So there we go. Tides, this one can fit for under 300 pages. It is a short book. This one is also recently hauled because I did pick this up this year. It would also fit for favorite genre because literary fiction is another one of my favorite genres. I would say my 3 favorite genres are literary fiction, science fiction, and queer contemporary. So I know it sounds like I'm saying every genre is my favorite, but I read a lot of genres and I like a lot of genres. It's definitely something that could fit for one-word title. Because it is written in vignettes, I would say this is definitely a different format than I usually read. And then lastly, it does have GPS on the title as well with the S in Tides. And then the P and the G are in these blurbs. So there is that. And then quickly before my battery dies, I have 2 other books that I will definitely be attempting to read. The Animorphs book is definitely middle grade, Portal Fantasy, GPS, different format because I will be reading this as an ebook. I have the ebooks of these, and then series continuation. This one fits a lot of prompts that I wouldn't have ticked off otherwise, so this is a definite one that I will be reading this month. And then the last one is We Need New Names, and this is the most yellow book that I could find. It's also one that I just recently received from a friend, so definitely it is recently hauled. And then favorite genre because it's literary fiction, and it also has GPS on the cover. So that is not all the books that I am going to read this month, hopefully. I am hoping to have a really great reading month. I've got some other short books that are lined up to read, and yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let me know if you're participating, and if you are, what team you are. Go TBR Travelers. And I will be vlogging the month of June, so you will get to see my progress throughout this readathon, and I hope you enjoy it. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!